Back with another episode of the Filmaholic. Today we're going to be talking about the recent Black Widow leaks. So, there are potential huge spoilers in the film. If you don't want to know, turn the video off. I'm not sure if these are actually real. They're coming from different articles that I've read and people that have supposedly seen the film. And they kind of give their opinion. I'm not going to really go into that because I don't care about necessarily their opinion, just what has happened in the film. We're going to discuss that. So, to start things off, it talks about how this movie is very Mission Impossible style, very action-packed, very nice, hands-on action sequences, and the other big action sequences are a lot like the other Marvel films, which we expect from this one. So the first leak that I want to talk about is the Taskmaster identity. My theory going into this film was that it was going to be Rachel Weisz's character. Turns out that's not the case. Apparently, Taskmaster is Black Widow's ex, played by O.T. I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name. He played in the Handmaid's Tale, and is listed as playing Mason in the film on IMDb. But he is playing Taskmaster and will be an ex-boyfriend of Natasha.
But this is basically about a dude getting his heart broken.
So I don't know. It doesn't go into anything about their past or like why they broke up or anything to do with that. It just reveals that's a twist. But it says the real twist of the film is, and this is something that I thought beforehand, but is that Rachel Weisz is the villain of the film, and that Taskmaster and Florence Pugh's character Yelena is actually working together for Secretary Ross.
So Taskmaster is not the villain.
Taskmaster is not the actual villain of the film. This is actually Rachel Weisz's character, and I guess Taskmaster turned out to be... I'm not going to say that they're going to turn out to be good, because I think this is going to lead up to something else, and we'll get to that in a second. The next, and this is what I'm talking about, like I don't really care about the person that wrote this article's opinion, because it's like, it's their opinion, but they talk about how the Red Guardian is annoying in the film, and they didn't like him. I actually liked his stuff in the trailer, so I'm looking forward to it, but they say he's super cheesy, but the Red Guardian does not make it out of this film. David Harbour's character dies in this film.
I actually expected that because I was in that mindset like saying like Rachel Weisz's character is gonna be the villain one way or the other, because I was just like she's gonna kill him, she's gonna break his heart.
Maybe, and because it doesn't go into details about how he dies, it just says that his death was played for tears. So it's apparently an emotional moment that they try to set up. But this person says it doesn't work for them. But it says the end of Black Widow is said to involve a big CGI scene. So I don't know if they're just talking about it being action heavy or what they're talking about there. The film is supposed to include a handful of cameos that include Hawkeye, Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark, Nick Fury, and Walton Goggins' character, Sonny Birch from Ant-Man and the Wasp, which this movie takes place before Ant-Man and Wasp, so that's kind of interesting unless the scene that he's in happens to take place afterwards. And this person wrote that the Stark scene felt awkward, like the Leia stuff in Rise of Skywalker, which doesn't really make sense to me because he is actually him there and not. I don't know. I'm surprised. I didn't really think that he would come back for a scene in this film, but it makes sense because he's alive during this time. It says that his scene in the film is early on, and it's him telling Black Widow that the government's going to come after her harder than the other Avengers because of her history, and he helps her get a head start running away from the United States government in the film.
Like Iron Man, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the other two leaks are the after credit scenes in the film. And the first after credit scene is said to be Florence Pugh's character and Taskmaster giving Secretary Ross the flash drive, some sort of flash drive that they found within the film, and him telling them that they're just getting started. Which, this is something that I had.
Fuck. Is it the shit? Dark Avengers. It's gonna be a lead up. Like, well, it's not gonna be a lead up. But it's gonna be like a kind of
Either
thing.
Dark Avengers or the Thunderbolts. I think they should just take both of the teams and kind of mash them together in terms of the MCU, like an adaptation. Just take bits and pieces of both of that, call it Dark Avengers, and move forward with that.
Son, if they're going to do Dark Avengers, these motherfuckers need to make a Fantastic Four as soon as possible and get Doctor Doom in this bitch.
Which, we'll talk about this in a second, but I want to go ahead and mention this other end credit scene, which is supposed to be Hawkeye, present day, with his kids at Natasha's grave. And that's really all it says about that scene. But I think that's a nice little add-on. I don't know where her grave is. I kind of hope that it's like at the Avengers headquarters and like it's like a monument or something. But
I mean, after what fans said about some fans about like her not getting like a proper goodbye or anything.
Yeah.
So that might probably be it.
But I think that's nice. The Florence Pugh and the Taskmaster thing, that goes kind of, I've been hearing about that for a while. That was going to be a thing that they tried to set up in this film with the Dark Avengers, and I really, really hope it's true. I really hope they're going to go in the direction of the Dark Reign storyline. And that goes. You sent me the link on Twitter about Christian Bale, right?
Yeah, from Comics Explained.
Yes, I hope this happens. And if you guys don't know what we're talking about,
did you watch the video?
I did. Yes, I did.
The whole entire thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's that there's a rumor, and now ultimately I don't believe it, but I hope it's true. And the rumor is that Christian Bale is not actually being wanted for Beta Ray Bill in the film. Instead, he's being wanted to play Norman Osborn in Thor 4, and that he'll have 3 scenes in the film. This would make me so happy because, first of all, Christian Bale is perfect to play Norman Osborn. If you've seen him as Bruce Wayne, you've seen him as his character in American Psycho, he would do a phenomenal job as Norman. And it makes sense for him to be in Thor 4 with the Dark Reign storyline, with the Asgardian stuff. Like, it would all make sense. The only thing I don't understand with that is why you wouldn't introduce him instead in Spider-Man 3, which is coming out a few months before Thor Love and Thunder.
He might probably make a cameo. I don't know. If it does,
Yeah.
And plus him being Norman Osborn, for his body, it won't be like. I think he's going to do a transformation, probably like he did for like Batman, which is nothing too extreme. It's something he can do in 3 months. But you have to be really dedicated to it, which he can be dedicated.
Yeah.
So he can he can bulk up like a solid 40 pounds like that real quick, or 30, whatever.
Something I was thinking of too, and I just want to throw this out there. This isn't really Black Widow related, but with Norman Osborn, do we know exactly who owns the rights for Norman Osborn? Because obviously Sony owns the rights to Green Goblin, but Norman Osborn also he's in the Dark Reign storyline. He's in the Dark Avengers as Iron Patriot. Do you think that could be a situation where, how we had Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, and both Fox and Disney could both use those characters because they were in the Avengers and X-Men. So as long as they don't reference certain things in each of their films, they could both use those characters. Do you think Marvel could potentially use Norman Osborn and not have him be Green Goblin? If some I
think I can you're right on this, because I think Disney was just like, all right, fuck it, can we at least take Norman Osborn, at least, because they're smart. If they work with barely anything back in the day, they can work with that.
Because I mean, right now it could be fine. They could work with and having Norman Osborn in there, if with Green Goblin and all that, because they're working together with Sony. But I don't think they would want to set up a big bad villain like that if they have the potential of Sony backing out and then losing him. But if it's in the contracts that if they don't attach him to Green Goblin, they could still use him because he's in other Marvel comics than just Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But makes me think with that too, maybe they can't use some other things, like maybe they couldn't use Harry Osborn, maybe because Harry might be just a Spider-Man character. But it's worth thinking.
I don't know, but if I don't know, I don't know if watching that video, I was just like, shit. It's like Christian Bale is like, it's too big of a name for him to be real. But yet again, Bradley Cooper is Rocket. And plus, I'm not sure if Christian Bale can play like the God Butcher in this one. If that is one going to be the villain.
I wouldn't be upset if he's Beta Ray Bill, but you get somebody like Christian Bale, to me, I would rather see him play Norman Osborn, because first of all, would be perfect for that role than just a voice essentially for Beta Ray Bill. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm not sure who I'd want to play Beta Ray Bill, but
they're probably gonna try. I think probably TV actor or something.
Anybody? I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe take your Matthew McConaughey thing, put him as Beta Ray Bill, and put Christian Bale as Norman Osborn.
All right.
All right, Thor.
Give me that hammer right there. Oh my God.
But
all right, gonna bring it back to Austin with me.
What do you have any more thoughts about these Black Widow leaks? Because they're not really all too surprising to me. I'm still really excited for the film. Like most of these leaks, Rachel Weisz, obviously, I feel like she was going to turn out to be the villain.
Well, previous from the recording, it was like I knew something was up with Taskmaster, so
the way that they look at each other in that scene.
Yeah, because the mimics and all that, but I think I'm a bit, well, not surprised, but just kind of with the Florence Pugh's character and Taskmaster working for Thunderbolt Ross.
See, I had read that rumor a while ago that Florence Pugh, is going to have a scene with Secretary Ross, but I'm a little bit surprised about the Taskmaster thing turning out to be a good guy. That's the only really surprised that. Well, not a good guy, but you know what I'm saying. Not the main villain of the film, because I thought that was going to be Rachel Weisz. The only thing that I'm a little curious about here is the Sonny Birch thing with the character that was in Ant-Man and the Wasp, how he's going to tie into everything here. Unless, here's the thing, we never find out who his employer is, right? In Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Huh?
I was hoping that the reveal at some point was going to be that his employer was Oscorp, and Norman Osborn. Here's the thing. And now I don't think that's the case. What if his employer is actually Ross? And Ross was trying to get his hands on the Pym particles and all that stuff. And Hank Pym's technology.
I mean, there's no...
I think that's what it is now. I think that's what it is.
And then especially with maybe a Hulk movie coming out now.
I think that'll be a little bit, though. I feel like. Has that been a big rumor recently?
Well, from what I've seen, yeah. But they're probably going to fix his arm with some vibranium or something. Because vibranium has really good. It's like healthcare basically, so it can fix anything. It's like Wakanian Vaporu, Like Mexicans have Vaporu, but they have vibranium, and you can't beat that, man. Like, it can cure anything.
I'm really excited with all this stuff. Like, I hope that they're leading up to Dark Avengers, you know, with some stuff around Thor. You got stuff around this movie. You got a Sonny Birch connection.
Give me Doctor Doom, though.
And we don't know what's happening with all the Spider-Man stuff with Sinister Six. Or if they are leading towards Sinister Six and Spider-Man 3, could some of those people also bleed over into Dark Avengers?
Maybe, because Jared Leto's going to need it for his fucking career right now.
Just rewatch that trailer, though. And that trailer's really good. I'm excited for it.
And plus, like, that man looks good for 50. Well, almost close to being 50.
All right, guys. That's our thoughts on Black Widow. See you next time.